And so, it begins. Dark were the skies and chill was the wind as the land was covered in a veil of malice. Across the hill did ride a dread army of the night, cloaked in mist and fog, prepared to rain down death and destruction upon the land. And the people did crowd for a savior, a noble soul to save them from their impending demise. Just as it seemed all was lost, in strode a mighty hero, clad in shimmering metal from head to toe. Wielding a terrible broadsword, he did cleave his foes in two, smashing their ranks asunder with righteous fury. And when the day was done and the enemy strewn across the fields in pieces, the people did turn to the warrior and say, "We shall name this day in your honor. Speak unto us your wisdom." The warrior said one word that day: epic.
One man, one Murloc, one giant angry badger. This is Blue Please. It begins now. Yes, indeed, folks. Welcome to Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. The date today is the 1st of January, 2010. It is 8 p.m. GMT. It is 3 p.m. EST. In other places, it is other times. And you are listening to the best WoW show of 2010 so far. Only WoW show of 2010 so far. That's not the point! There is no point in having any other WoW shows now, because you see, Blue Please has come on the air, and you're never going to beat it. You're never going to top it, so why bother? That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Such a mass extinction of basically every WoW podcast on the planet. I would celebrate. I'd maybe cry a little. Tears of joy, of course. Tears of joy. What have I got coming up for you in the show today? Wonderful things, folks. Wonderful things. We've got Nubcake News. We've got Ask the Murloc. We've got some content. I'm going to be talking. I heard that you like that. In fact, that I heard that the show is designed for that specifically. Am I correct? Perhaps I'm mistaken. Maybe it's the drink. There is a possibility of drinking today, I think. It's New Year's Day. You can do whatever the hell you want. I've also got some illusion of choice. However, we're going to change things around a little bit. Because this is the illusion of choice. Ah! See, turned the tables. Unexpected. Crept up from you from the side. You are flanked. Surprised. Caught out of position. It's the illusion of choice. In this illusion of choice, I will pick the topic, and then you will answer it. Shock horror. Then next week we'll do the illusion of choice, which goes something like this. That's a lot of windows. Shall I tell you what it is? Probably for the best idea. I would like your emails throughout the show for the illusion of choice. And the subject that I would like you to talk about is this. Tell me about your worst experiences so far with the random dungeon system. Oh god, why? I had a terrible experience yesterday, in fact. Or was it the day before? Whatever. It involved a warrior. Now, I'm used to seeing some pretty terrible players in the random dungeon system. Really, really bad. But I don't think I can top a warrior doing 37 DPS in Azul Narub. No, I'm deadly serious, 37. You know the amusing thing is? You know the really hilarious thing is? He wasn't even wielding like a level 1 weapon. And I'm pretty sure you could get much higher than that with a level 1 weapon. He was wearing this item level 179 blue sword, right? Two-handed sword. It's not great, but it'll do. 37 DPS. You have to try really, really hard. And no, I'm not talking about 3.7k. No, or 3,700. 37. 37. No, I'm serious. I am completely serious. How do you do that? Bearing in mind that I can get like 350 to 400 DPS with my wand, how exactly do you do 37 DPS? Well, I found out, as it happens, that said person was training weapon skills in our Agile Naru group. Training weapon skills. It beggars belief that someone could think that this is acceptable. And for one thing, why the hell does a level 80 warrior not have any weapon skill in two-handed swords? How do you even do that? I accidentally have more skill in two-handed swords, and I'm a mage! That should terrify you. You've got to wonder what goes through the heads of some people. Assuming anything goes through their heads whatsoever. I would assume that common sense and knowledge goes in one ear and out the other, and that's the only thing that ever goes through their heads. Tell you what I'd like to put through their heads, a damn brick. Ugh. It's disgraceful. How could someone possibly exist that is that bloody stupid? Funnily enough, it was the same group that after we kicked that guy, the tank went AFK during the Haraxus pull. You know the big spider thing? I think it's called Haraxus or something like that? You know how you can despawn all the mobs, and then you run through, and then you fight Haraxus, DPS her down really fast, and then go down there, save about 4 minutes? Yeah, tank goes AFK halfway through that. So what happens when the tank goes AFK, folks? Oh look, the mobs have come back! Oh, God. Sadly, the random group system does not account for player stupidity. We'll be talking about that a little bit later on in the show. No doubt. Oh. I had a stiff drink or 10 after that, I tell you. Without further ado, it's time for this.
That sounds like it's mail time. Here's the mail.
It never fails.
It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes,
I want to wail.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, it is mail time. It is the time where I read the mail, and over the past couple of weeks I've got quite a lot of it. So I better start off straight away. Here's one. It's from Joseph Brewer. He says this: Hey TB, I have really enjoyed the new LFG system, and I've actually run across many an epic player. In fact, once logged on just to do my Frost Badge daily dungeon, me, a healer, and a tank and 2 DPS just clicked. What was to be 1 dungeon turned into 10, we even joined Vent and chatted. The thing is, though, we're on different realms. We've been trying to figure out if there is a way to cross-realm queue to get together. Do you think the Blizzard Activision will ever make it possible to work together cross-realm? Now, as I recall, that's already a possibility. It's not something you can do right now, but they did say they were planning it. I'm almost 100% certain, at any rate, that that is what they were planning. So yeah, that's probably going to come in the near future. Is there any... I don't know, it's funny that. It's one of those rare instances where you see Blizzard doing something for the good of the players instead of for the good of their pocketbook. Now, you know, of course, that there's a lot of money comes in from faction transfers and server transfers and realm changing and race changing and all that other nonsense that's going to be coming. Now, if Blizzard were really just after the money, then they would never implement any kind of cross-realm queuing system. I mean, if you want to play with your friends, you better either go roll on there or transfer over. There's $15 or $20 or whatever it costs in Blizzard's pocket. Good way to make a little bit extra cash on the side, right? Well, it's not really beneficial to the players, is it? It's nice to have the option. I think it's too expensive. And the faction transfer is absurdly expensive. And the fact that you... Let me think. I'm trying to remember how much exactly it costs. Something like 40 or 45 euros to do a server transfer and a faction transfer. That's an absolute disgraceful rip-off. I mean, for that price, I can buy a brand new 360 or PS3 game. For that price, I can buy like 20 Steam games on the Steam sale. So don't tell me that doing a simple switch of data is worth that. As far as I'm aware, there's not even any manual interaction with the system whatsoever. I know for a fact that I've had a server transfer done in under 10 minutes, so I'm pretty sure that that was not done manually. It's a fully automated system. Sure, there's a little bit of development time going into that, but it's definitely not worth what the cost of it. So, it's nice to see that they are implementing this. As to whether or not it will come in Wrath, who knows? It might end up being something along the lines of Cataclysm. One would think. It makes sense. It's a possibility. But yeah, I know they said that they mentioned it. They were interested in creating something of that ilk. Whether or not they're going to get it out sooner or later, I couldn't tell you. I don't believe they had a scheduled date for it. Okay, let's see what else we've got. This one is from Nathan Townsend, also known as Mecha of Juby Thos US, and it says this: Dear TB, what are your particular thoughts on the new raiding faction, the Ashen Verdict, for Icecrown Citadel? Do you think it's another example of easy loot? Do you support raiding factions in general, or do you think this is effectively the same as the badge system, where you get loot for doing this instance X number of times for Y loot? Well, I've always been in favour of this, honestly, ever since all the way back in Vanilla, when it was introduced in a proper manner with Zul'Gurub. Zul'Gurub did it really, really well. What raiding factions tend to do is they take some of the sting out of the RNG system in terms of loot drops. So, say you've got this is a perfect example for the Ashen Verdict. Say there's a really, really nice best-in-slot ring that drops, but it's quite a low drop rate. And say that the one time that it drops, you aren't there. And you're just never going to get this thing. It never drops. When it does drop, it ends up going to somebody else, and you just get increasingly frustrated. Yet you've worked just as hard as everybody else. You've done the content. It's not like you're being handed items for not doing the content. You know, I've got complaints about doing... I hate the fact that you can do heroics and get item level 232 to 245 loot. I think that's garbage. And I still think it's garbage. Obviously, you should take advantage of it because it's there, and it's not going to disappear just because you want it to. But as far as I'm concerned, that's total garbage. In terms of the Ashen Verdict, however, you're looking at doing item level 251 to 268 or so content, and you're getting what is basically a ring. You know, that's what's available. The Ashen Verdict Quartermaster will give you a ring, which upgrades. This is not the first time this has happened. You'll remember Mount Hyjal had a very similar system. Indeed, the ring is modelled on the Mount Hyjal rings. I can't actually even remember what they were called, but whatever the case. You'll see at Exalted, these rings have procs. And it's nice. It is, it really is. I have no problem with it, honestly. I think it's a good design decision to have a reputation faction based around a particular raid dungeon. Zul'Gurub did it very well. You got a neck piece that would constantly upgrade. That was really neat. It was just a nice little extra thing. What it says is that whenever you go into that instance, and maybe you can go a few times and get absolutely no loot, you are still making some progress. And it's nice to layer that onto, say, another system like DKP. And the reason I'm so much in favour of DKP, amongst other things, is that DKP gives you the ability to progress on a personal level, even if you don't get any loot. So say I go to Icecrown a couple of times, I get no loot whatsoever, but I still feel like I've done something and I've earned something, because I've gotten DKP. Putting Reputation in there puts an in-game system which stacks nicely on top of that, which says, you are earning Reputation. This Reputation gives you access to increasingly more powerful rings, which you don't have to pay for. So here's some really nice loot for you. The ring is best in slot, without a question. Especially once you get it up higher than Friendly. And even at Friendly, it's a god ring. I mean, just look at that thing. The Ashen Band of Destruction is absolutely ridiculous. But whatever. It's nice to have that. It makes me feel better about raiding, and I assume it makes other people feel better about raiding as well. It's not a question of giving easy loot, really. And getting to Exalted with the Ashen Verdict is not easy. You can farm and farm and farm all you like, but it's going to take you ages to get anywhere near that. I mean, I've seen people doing farming runs in there. Let's go farm some trash! Wow, that's really boring. I think I won't do that. I'm not that desperate for a ring or a pattern. It wouldn't surprise me if there are some people who are, admittedly. I've seen it happen. I assume there's people who are a lot higher than Friendly already. Maybe some people are approaching Exalted. Maybe they've already got there. Who knows? The thing is, that's their call. And it's not like they're being showered in tier 10 for the privilege. They're not getting any badges from it. They're not getting any gear drops from it. They're just getting rep. I don't see any problem with that. That's progressive content. That's what rep's for, right? That's what it's always been for. So I'm in favour of that. I also want some quests. Give me some of those. Now, last but not least, this is from Thes, and he says, this is Thes from Bloodfeather EU. I've recently come back to WoW after taking a 3-month break after being kicked from my guild for causing a wipe on General Vezax. I'd been with them for almost a year. Kinda lame, no? Well, it depends how stupid the wipe was. Anyway, after being butthurt for about 3 months, I re-rolled a Blood Elf Warlock. Oh yeah, that's great. I was emo for 3 months, so I re-rolled the most emo race in the game. And a lot of my friends play on Bloodfeather, so that's why I rolled it. My question to you is this. What other profession should I pick up along with enchanting? It seems like all the good things need a supporting profession. No. Enchanting doesn't need a supporting profession at all. That's the nice thing about it. It's got one built into it. You should pick whatever increases your DPS the most. Let's be honest. Go over to Elitist Jerks, go and have a look at the Warlock threads, and if they're anything like the Mage threads, they will tell you exactly what every profession does and rank them. Like, I looked at those at one point, and it says, right, enchanting's really good because you get the ring enchants, which you can't get anywhere else, and jewel crafting's good because you get the gems. So, okay, that's cool, that's a DPS increase. I believe there's 1 or 2 things which give a slightly higher DPS increase, but if you look at the thread, it will tell you. Seriously, just do your research, it's all that's needed. I can't give you Warlock advice. And to be honest, I don't like giving advice anyway, because Elitist Jerks does it better, Ra does it better, there's something awful, WoW threads do it better. Those are guys that actually know what they're talking about, because it's peer-reviewed content. This is why I say there's no excuse for ignorance in WoW. The information is out there. It's peer-reviewed. It's 100% correct. Just go follow what they say. Read what they say and you'll have a better understanding of the class in general because you'll see how they do their math and how they rank their stuff. It makes perfect sense. Go do it. Go have a look. My name is Total Biscuit and you are listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. I'll be right back after this music break to talk to you a little bit about Icecrown Citadel and a certain gating procedure. Enjoy.